Hey guys, welcome back to another bullet journal video on my channel. This time we are setting up for June, and for once I have a solid, very fun theme. I went with water, boats, and fish, and I'm so excited to show you how I incorporated those things into these spreads today. So let's start with the supplies as usual. I have two Arteza Real brush pens, a pale blue and an ocean blue. There aren't names on them, but this is one of my favorite brush lettering supplies to use, and I'll be using them a lot. I have three different size Pigma Micron fine liner pens for details, two Tombow brush pens, a colored pencil I received from Art Snacks featured in a previous video, a white jelly roll pen, and a Tombow mechanical pencil. The pencil and the color pencil I received from Art Snacks as well, and I'll add the links for these products in the description if you want to check them out for yourself. Let's flip to the next open page in the book and make my favorite title page I've ever made, and you will see it's a unique design. And starting with the pale blue Arteza brush pen, I'm going to write out June and just leave a gap straight through the letters, and you will see what I'll do with that in a little bit. I just thought this was kind of creative, and I don't know, it just gave me that ocean vibe that I was going for. I'm going back in and thickening the downstrokes with the same pen and just kind of making it evened out a little bit since the letters are kind of large on the page. And then I'm going to go in with the darker ocean blue to fill in the upper and lower sides of the gaps, just to give it a cool, like, water-like effect, but still leaving that gap in there. I'm just showing you that I like to grab my phone and flip to the Pixabay app and look up reference photos whenever I'm doing little sketches, because I'm not naturally very good at drawing. I don't have like a natural talent for it, especially when I'm just going off of memory. So I like to have the reference photos, and Pixabay is just so easy. This isn't sponsored, of course, just thought you may enjoy the little tip that I use for myself. And then here's the first fun part, at least I thought so. I'm drawing a wave through the gap in the letters, and then I'm going to be adding a little sailboat into the hook of the J, which I think adds like a nice balance. I'm using my smallest fine liner to add in shadow effects to the letters, which basically means just darkening the left sides and the tops of the letters. And then of course, since we have shadows, I couldn't skip the highlights. So using my jelly roll pen, I'm putting rows of white dots along the tops of the letters. It's a little hard to see on camera, but it really takes the look of the lettering to the next level when you see it in person. It just looks more like it's jumping off the page. And if you've been watching my bullet journal videos for a while, you know I always like including a reference calendar on the title page, because I feel like it makes the title page a little bit more useful with it. So of course I added that below the word June. For this kind of writing, I get a lot of questions about what pen I use. This is the Tombow Fudenosuke soft tip pen. So once that part is done, I decided spontaneously to add some clouds above the title so that the whole picture is more cohesive and it makes sense. Not to mention, it looks better to fill the space out evenly along the page, and I think those clouds turned out perfect, and I just researched a reference photo for that as well. Now the bottom of the page needs a little something too, so I added bubbles and fish, which of course is a big part of our theme, and you'll see more of this as we do the next spreads. The fish were surprisingly fun to draw. I actually had to hold back from getting carried away with them. I definitely didn't want to overdo it, but they were fun to just do different shapes and different scales and stuff. Now moving on to the first actual spread, we're going to do a daily log or monthly overview, as I used to say. This is basically where I write down my plans for each day and just my schedule kind of plans. It's not intended to be filled up completely, but mostly when I have like an event or an appointment or something like that. I'll track more minor things in my weekly spreads, more detail in there, and keep this one reserved for the important things, if that makes sense. And then I'm adding some shadow effects into the title, and I went with the colored pencil to make the letters more vibrant, just adding strokes down the middle of the letters, but you could barely even tell, so you could totally skip that step. I'm writing the dates down the page, skipping a line between each date. I decided to leave the open space at the top of the page rather than the bottom, since there are some lines that were unused. And as you can see, I'm drawing in one long wave as an underline for the title to separate it from the sketch that I'm about to do below. I'm filling the open space with bubbles and fish to frame the quote that says, "Make the most of each day," just because I feel like it's really fitting and inspirational for when I'm filling in this spread. Moving on to the next page, this is going to be my wellness tracker. I've done this a few times in my monthly setups before, but this is by far my favorite way to track it. I came up with this method based off of trial and error. The first couple ones just got a little bit redundant, and I'm going to show you how to avoid that. For example, if you're feeling like the same way like 5-6 days in a row, you don't have to keep writing out the same exact thing. I'm just adding some details in the lettering just to make it a little bit more fun. So I'm adding like little waves through the letters, and you can't see unless you like look up close, but I just thought it was fun to just make use of the theme once again and make the titles stand out a little bit from each other. So I'm going to write the dates down the center of the page to create two different sections or columns. The left section is going to be for overall health, and the right section is going to be for exercise. Below those two category names, I'm specifying what I'm intending to track. And this is because, like I said, I was tired of writing the same things every day for my overall health. Like I just kept saying it was good or perfect every single day. So for this month, I decided to make it into a scale from bad to perfect. And I just made like little waves to separate the words. So basically, I'll just color in the lines like a bar graph, stopping at the word that describes how I'm feeling. And I thought this would be nice because I don't really need to know exactly why I'm feeling bad or perfect. Like I pretty much remember it's for the same reasons. And then for exercise, I'll be logging the type and time. For example, I can write in like Pilates and then put a comma, 35 minutes. This next page is my monthly affirmation, which I decided to fill out on camera to give you guys an example to go off of, and also because it starts my month out best when I already have my goals solidified. I put a lot of little details into the letters once again, even more so for this one. I made little gray clouds along the upper half of the letters and little blue waves in the bottom of the letters. And then I'm writing a decent sized paragraph on all the characteristics I'd like to embody for the month. And then since that only fills up about half the page, I'm utilizing the bottom of the page for a similar purpose, and this is to track the things I want to work on. So I'm using a little drawing to break up the page and then writing the words things to work on along the bottom of that wave. And in this area, I'll just come back and jot down like bullet points of things that come to mind as the month progresses. For this, I'll mostly focus on how I'm doing as far as my affirmations, just noting what I could work on a little bit better to stay true to my affirmations. And then once that's done, we will move on to the next page, which is going to be one line a day. I'm sure you guys have seen this if you've been on Pinterest or Instagram or seen other bullet journal videos. I tried this once and I really enjoyed filling it out each day. And I liked the look of it after when I saw the whole page filled up. So I'm just writing the dates on the left-hand side and reserving the bottom area for a quote. The quote that I decided to go with was by Maya Angelou, which I thought fit perfectly with this sort of page. It says, "There's no greater agony than bearing an untold story within you." And I thought this would encourage me to write a little bit more, maybe get a little bit creative with it. If you want to see what this page looks like filled up completely, let me know in the comments, and I may post a picture at the end of the month on my Instagram account. So follow me there at Bullets of Sanity so you don't miss that. And also, if you want to see any other pages filled out completely, just let me know in the comments as well, and I'll be sure to post one of those for you guys. Just let me know what you want to see. Okay, so I'm really excited to show you my habit tracker this month because it's totally different than my previous habit trackers. Now, I will say most likely I'll revert back to my usual setup next month since it works so well for me, but I needed to change it up because I've been doing that for so long. But let me know which style you like better, and if you haven't seen my previous videos, definitely check out my habit tracker because I think that's like the spread that I'm most proud of. But I'm drawing a little wave between the dates and the title, leaving enough room to write out the habits. I wrote so many habits here, but I don't intend to do each of them every single day. This is more to keep myself productive and on track with my goals overall. So I used the gray side of my Tombow pen to alternate between black and gray in the habits. On the next page, I'm doing my mood tracker, which is also very different than my usual setup. I had so much fun with this one. So I'm adding shadows on the words once again and drawing little waves in a sailboat. Since my title is a little off center, I thought the sailboat would fit nicely up there. There was some space at the bottom that I wanted to fill up, so I added another quote, which I love adding these quotes in there just for inspiration. I totally recommend trying that out. Since I'm more of a letterer than a doodler, adding the quotes is more suited to my style. So the quote that I wrote is "Be the energy you want to attract," and I thought that was so fitting for a mood tracker page. This quote has always resonated with me, and I feel like seeing it will keep my mood on track, or at least help to do so. Alright, now for the cool part. I'm making a scale based off facial expressions on fish. I'll show you how I plan to fill it out in the first few days, since I've gotten a lot of questions about it in the past, like how I fill out my mood tracker. But I really like the facial expressions on the fish. I just thought that was so fun and different and so outside of my comfort zone with these mood trackers. I usually like to keep them very structured and clean. But that is actually the last spread for today. For the weekly spreads, I'll be setting them up similarly to last month, as you see here. So I'm just going to be repeating this and maybe adding a little bit of doodles to match up with the theme once again. But overall, it'll be the same format. I really hope you found this video to be helpful and you enjoyed it. Maybe it gave you some ideas to recreate in your own journal, and if so, definitely let me know. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, so you can see more videos like this. I do these videos in particular every single month. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video.